Hey, what's up guys? So in this week's episode of 5 Minute Fridays, I want to cover the difference between windshield mount radar detectors and custom installed remote mount radar detectors. Both of them are great options, but they each have their own pros and cons, and they appeal to different people with different budgets and different needs. And so in this video, I want to go over the differences and the benefits of each style. Now, as far as windshield mount radar detectors, these are going to be your more affordable ones. A good windshield mount is going to run you maybe a couple $100. A good custom install detector, you're looking at maybe $1,000 to $2,000 plus the cost of installation on top of that. So these are definitely going to be more expensive. With these, not only are they less expensive, there's more options available, but the install itself is also a lot simpler. I mean, to install one of these, you can just pretty much throw it up on your windshield and plug it into your cigarette lighter and you're done. You can get fancier if you want to maybe hide that cable and plug it into your rear view mirror if it's powered, or hardwire it down into your fuse box. To install something like this, you're looking at installing this guy somewhere in your grill area and then running the cable back into the cabin. And then you've also got the controller to install in your cabin, the display, the alert LED, the speaker, the GPS antenna. There's a lot more components, and so the install here is going to be a lot more work. Something like this, it's a lot simpler. Additionally, if you ever want to upgrade your system, maybe a new radar detector comes out and you want to upgrade your old one, this is really easy to just pop off your windshield and put on the next one. And a lot of radar detectors actually use the same power cable, and so it's not a big deal to swap systems. A lot of times you can even use the same power cable. Something like this, you're going to have to completely swap out the old system, install the new one. A lot of times you'll have to rerun the cables, and so upgrading is a lot tougher here compared to here. However, once you get everything installed, that's when everything starts to show its advantages here. With something like this, you're always going to have a box hanging on your windshield. Not a big deal for a lot of people. Some people are concerned about it being visible to thieves or to law enforcement, and they don't necessarily want something hanging on the windshield, so they maybe take it down when they get out of the car, put it back in, all that kind of stuff when they get back in the car. Something like this, there's nothing visible to any thieves, and you don't have to worry about taking your detector down if maybe you're parked in a sketchy area or something, you know? So this is going to give you a lot more stealthy install. Additionally, it's just going to be cleaner. You don't have a box hanging on the windshield. With something like this, it's going to be a lot more OEM looking, which is great. You'll have maybe a controller or a display, or sometimes maybe it'll even integrate with your phone if you want less stuff installed in your car. So once it's done, this is going to be a lot cleaner than something like this. Additionally, if you want to run a laser jammer, a lot of times, depending on what laser jammer and remote mount radar detector you choose, a lot of them can actually integrate together. And so you're not going to need separate controls and everything for the radar detector and the laser jammer. You can have just one display and controller, and both your radar and laser integrate into one system, which is really nice. So again, that just means fewer components inside your car and a cleaner looking install. Another reason why you may want to go for a remote mount is out of necessity. You see, some vehicles actually have special materials in the windshield that can actually block the radar signals from passing through the windshield and arriving at a windshield mount radar detector. You'll find this in vehicles that have heated windshields or anything with like a metallic coating or a metallic tint or something. You'll see this in vehicles like certain Mercedes, Porsches, Land Rovers, some Teslas, etc. Some vehicles, not others. If this applies to you, you're not going to be able to use a windshield mount detector at all, because your windshield is going to be blocking so much of the signal that it's going to be almost useless here. You can actually test this yourself if you're not sure by taking the radar detector and maybe putting it behind the windshield and then moving it out the door so the windshield's no longer in front of it, and seeing if the signal strength gets stronger or weaker. If you're parked near an automatic door opener and you're taking a look at the signal strength here, you can move it back and forth and see if that affects anything. Certain vehicles that actually have a windshield like this, they may have a little cutout in the windshield where you can install like a GPS receiver that also has wireless communication going through the windshield, a cell phone, a toll pass, or a radar detector. Some windshields have special cutouts specifically for this, but if you have other things in your car like a toll pass or a GPS receiver, things like that, you may not necessarily have room for this. And so if that's the case, out of necessity, you're going to have to go for a custom install detector. Now when you're installing these, it's really important to install them properly. Again, you want to make sure nothing in front of it, kind of like the windshield, is going to be compromising the performance of your detector. So ideally, you're going to want it installed in a way where there's nothing in front of the detector, even a grill, especially one of those mesh grills. That can really cut down the range of the detector. So ideally, you'll want it with nothing installed there. If you want a cleaner look, or your grill doesn't allow you to do that, you can always pull off the front bumper and install the radar detector behind a flat, non-metallic part of your body panel. If that's the case, you can mount it there, and then performance should still be fine, and aesthetically it will actually look even better because, again, you can't see the radar detector at all. It is completely hidden. So again, installation here is going to be a lot more involved, but once you get it all installed, you're going to have a much cleaner looking install. And so pros and cons, trade-offs. A lot of people like to go for the windshield mounts. They're cheaper, there are more options, and they're easier to install. A lot of people like to go for the remotes. Yes, they're more expensive and they have more involved installation, but you have a cleaner install. And I mean, a lot of times you can just have a better experience just with, fewer doodads and controllers and all this stuff installed in your car. One last thing I forgot to mention is when you have a remote detector, with certain ones you can actually have a little bit larger remote detector. Just because they have more room to play with, they can make the antennas a little bit larger, and with the larger antenna it's going to do a better job of detecting radar at a distance and actually give you longer range. The Redenso Pro M, for example, the remote version of it, the RCM, actually has a physically larger antenna, which is going to actually give you better range than the Windshield mount. The new Escort Maxi-i, it's a physically large antenna like this. This is the previous gen version, the sti-r Plus. The Maxi-i, it's a large antenna, and it's got like a waterproof housing around it and everything, but to maybe put that in a windshield mount might be a little bit difficult, So pros and cons and trade-offs to all this kind of stuff. Anyways, if you're wondering as far as what's the best windshield mount or the best remote mount detector, I'll have links in the video description that goes over all that, both on my website as well as videos that compare all the top options. Other than that, yeah, there we go. That's it for this week's episode of 5 Minute Fridays. I hope you've enjoyed it. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.